Hi everyone, we're going to do pears today. I've taken a picture of what I've got in front of me, which is a still life of a bowl of pears. I've reduced it to monochrome because that's how we're going to be working today. We're going to be using some charcoal to help us get a bit of ground. We're going to be using a 2B pencil to sketch out, which is a B pencil, which is this one, and then we've got a softer graphite pencil to use as well, which will be quite interesting to use to get those sort of mid-tones in. So basically I've got the setup in front of me, and I'm going to start by just sketching out the composition here. So I'm going to show you on the image that we've got here how to measure it out. So the bowl, if you're using a pencil to help you measure, is about halfway through down this pear. So basically there's one pear, that's the depth of the bowl, and then also that pear there is the same, roughly the same depth of the bowl. So what we're going to do is get this fairly central on your piece of paper. Now this paper has been emulsioned using matte emulsion, white emulsion. This is to give you a bit more of a tooth to the paper, rather than working just on plain cartridge. When you're rubbing into this, you'll get much more texture, and you'll get some of the brush marks as well. It's just nice to draw on also. So I'm going to start with the bowl shape. We're not going to use very much of this paper, so to make sure that we've got it all in view. So I want some space above, so that's going to be roughly the space to my first pear, and I'm going to decide on this measurement here. This is going to be the first pear, and it's also going to be the depth of the bowl. So if I got 1, 2, that will take me down to about there. So let's say we're making this slightly bigger, so this is our measurement, these two. So we've got the pear and the bowl, and then that measurement there is the same as this pear across as well. So let's just get this bowl shape in. How many is it across? We've got 1 depth, and then we've got about 2 wide. So that will be roughly the width of our bowl there. Let's just get those 2 in. 1, 2. So that's where the ellipse is going to go. So let's just sketch that in quickly. You're going to get a copy of this image to work from, so you'll be working away from that. And then I'm just going to sketch in this pear here, which is behind this deeper one here, so it's just peeking out from the edge. Let's sketch that in. It needs to be fairly high up, so let's just put it in with a B pencil. Curvy shape, and then we've got this bowl coming around, and then this one is just nestling inside. Let's just follow it around, and then that same depth is the depth of this pear here, so it comes quite high up. It's sort of tipped down, so the bottom of it is into the bowl. And what we're going to use is this negative space around the outside of the bowl, just to check it as well. You can kind of just see a little bit of stalk there. And that depth is here, so this comes from overhangs the bowl. It's quite a big curve. And then we're going to get the lips of this bowl, so this is the bottom. Let's just swing around, very rounded, this bowl, and get this shape in. And then you can just see a little bit of the bowl poking out the bottom there. At the back, we're just going to lightly sketch in where some of the darker shadows are, because I've got kind of a big shadow that's been created in this corner. So I'm just going to sketch that in, and I'm going to get the sort of horizon line in, which is knocking out from this edge of the bowl here. So the ellipse comes right out. It's quite big, this ellipse. And then that's the edge of the surface, the kind of Hessian fabric that I've got. There we go. So that's everything just roughly knocked in. That's fairly central And we also want to get in this dark tone here as well. Just suggest the bottom of this pear, and use the dark tones. You're going to use the dark tones to suggest the shape of it, and the fact that that's behind as well. We're going to put in a darker tone. This might be peeking out a little bit more than that. Proportionally, if you're looking at this one here, it's about just over the size of that shadow. So the size of that shadow is there, so that should be about right. Okay, so we've just got it sketched out, and we're not going to use the whole image. We're going to be using almost like a square of the paper there. Okay, so I think that's fine. So if you want to double check all your measurements, check that you've got everything roughly in the right space before you begin putting in the darker tones. Okay.